Hey guys, I wanted to respond to a viewer who was asking me why it is that people don't realize INFJs can be very awkward as well. Um, that question is interesting because in it is obviously contains the assumption that INFJs are awkward and the observation that usually this awkwardness goes unnoticed by people. Now, I think that for the majority of INFJs, and I'm including here secure INFJs, also call them spiritual INFJs, because often these INFJs I see as separate cases that don't necessarily have the same characteristics that other INFJs have in the domain of being awkward or clumsy or having issues with self-affirmation, self-esteem. In this case, I think that applies to all INFJs. They are existentially awkward, and I would disagree that people don't notice. I think that people do notice. People are not necessarily going to tell you that they think you're awkward, because you might not take it that well, and people tend to be well-meaning at the end of the day most of the time. Also keep in mind that your awkwardness is something that will be noticeable in real life, IRL as the kids say, in personal and interpersonal interaction with people in the here and now of everyday reality, not interaction through a screen. In interaction through a screen, someone like your interlocutor might or will notice the effects of your awkwardness. Maybe you'll be a bit silent, you won't respond straight away, you'll come across as sometimes a little bit distant or passive aggressive or just not very natural. These are consequences of awkwardness, but they won't notice the awkwardness. They won't notice the awkwardness because the awkwardness is not visible. So I think INFJs who think that don't come across as awkward to other people, a lot of these INFJs are probably basing their observations a little bit too much on online interactions or on real life interactions where there's a bird in the tree that's distracting me, or interactions where the people that they interact with in real life are polite and they see no reason to put so much of a focus on explicitly voicing their thoughts on INFJs being awkward. So I think that all INFJs are existentially awkward, and I think that most people notice that. INFJs might not notice that, but other people and people of other types will often notice that. Why are they existentially awkward? Well, the existential awkwardness is the awkwardness of being stretched apart in two directions, pulled apart in two directions by two different worlds: the world of external reality of people and things, and the NI world of intuitions, the NI world of symbols, the NI world of metaphor, the NI world of all that is internal to the INFJ landscape. These two worlds don't always coincide. In fact, I think they coincide rarely across the day. They do coincide. I call these spaces or openings of coincidences, interstices that often have a particular kind of vibrating resonance to them. I've made videos about that, and I will do more in the future. But most of the time there is more a discordance than a resonance between the experience of the NI world, which is more like oceanic, and the experience of external reality, which is more codified and regimented. So this existential awkwardness is translated into, in many ways, a behavioral and physical awkwardness. It makes sense in many ways because the existential level is primary. It's more primitive. So if you like, your bodily awkwardness is actually a can be described as an expression of the existential awkwardness of belonging in two different worlds. Now, it's possible that in the case of spiritual and spiritualized INFJs, there is a little bit less awkwardness because there is a good expertise at knowing how to connect the two worlds when the opportunity arises. But because at the end of the day, we're always going to be talking about interstices of resonance and not a constant state of being a bridge between two worlds, the majority of the time, even the spiritual and the spiritualized INFJs will also come across as a little awkward. The difference between these subtypes and the other INFJs, it's not really that they're not awkward, it's more that they are happy with it, they're embracing it. They know it's just a part of who they are and what makes them distinct. Not just in what they say, not just in what they talk about, but also in what they really believe in their system of holistic beliefs, you know? It's something that is just taken for granted by them. They manage to get to a stage where they just take that for granted. Being authentically INFJ is in fact having this kind of awkwardness, but moving away from a negative judgment on that to a positive judgment on that is part of what makes you unique. It's not really hurting anyone. It can also make you charming. So, awkwardness, yes. Translated into, among other things, clumsiness of behavior, physical clumsiness. You know, it also translates into, I wouldn't say clumsiness or awkwardness of thought, but it translates into the flowing, not very structured, imagistic, metaphorical, and ultimately not that rational pattern of thinking that INFJs have, which I prefer to call something that's more in tune with daydreaming, musing, and being lost in thought than actual thinking. INFJs think, of course, but they think at particular junctures that are in fact often aligned with the energy spurs that signal the appearance of interstices, such that there is a link between the INFJ's ability to rationally think and come to important conclusions, sometimes powerfully so, and the increase of energy that is attendant on the opening up of an interstice. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this, guys. Give me a like if you enjoyed it. As usual, it really helps with the referencing and the algorithm, you know that. Don't forget that if you want to know more about INFJs, I've written 2 full books, and they're probably the books that go the most in depth about what it is like to be an INFJ life, and the particular challenges that INFJ face in the world today. For the challenges that INFJ face in the world today and how to lead an authentic existence as an INFJ, in fact, as the key to INFJ flourishing, this is the book to get, The Infinite Soul, INFJ Life in the Modern World. It goes deep into the experience of being an INFJ right now in the world today and what is key to finding fulfillment, purposefulness, and meaningfulness. Check the first link below, that's my latest book. Check the reviews as well if you want to get titillated. My earlier book, which is the prequel to The Infinite Soul, as you can see by the covers, the book go very well together, the books, is The Ecstatic Soul, a new look at the INFJ personality. That's the deepest investigation you will find anywhere of the INFJ mind, of INFJ personality, of INFJ consciousness, what it's like to be an INFJ, what it's like to think like an INFJ. Get the 2 books today. And by the way, the lifeblood of my channel is my Patreon page, guys. There's a link down below. My channel is still running thanks to your support. I hopefully can get more support from you so I can continue producing quality content. I don't get any other kind of revenue. So I would appreciate any support, and keep in mind that you get access to my community. We're thinking of opening a Discord very soon. Perhaps we already have by now, I don't know. And you get access, like I said, to bonus content like videos every 2 weeks. You get access to me. You can interact with me directly in private message, suggest videos for me to cover topics. You get priority. So lots of perks for only $3.50 a month. Please consider it. Talk to you next time, guys. Bye-bye.